All right, welcome back to the shipyard. Today I have two, very special guests. I have Jeff and James Sonas. Most of you know Jeff from posting in the Star Trek community, and then his son James. And, they went to Worlds, and they filmed this wonderful footage. So, gentlemen, you are here to do, a lot of commentating on our final match between Joseph and Jordan, last year's world champion, and the player who's won the most Star Trek and never won a world championship, at least at the start of this match. Spoilers.
Yeah, so I'd like to kind of set the stage. This was the final match of the Star Trek Attack Wing World Championship Tournament, which was held on December 1st, 2018 at PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This was an event that had 15 players participate, so it was a 3-round Swiss to start, and the top 8 players would make the cut out of that preliminary group into a single elimination knockout, 3 more rounds, culminating in this final match between Joseph and Jordan. Now, because there was a bye, there was an odd number of players, anyone who got a bye was credited with a 65-point win. So actually there were a lot of players who finished on 2-1. So normally there would have been a couple players who finished 1-2 who would still make the cut. But in this case, the cut was actually right between 2-1 and 1-2. So anybody who went 2-1 advanced to the knockout, and anybody who was 1-2 or 0-3 did not make it. The 2 players were the only remaining unbeaten players once we got to the finals. Both of them went 5-0 on their path to the finals, although the paths they took were actually pretty different. Joseph scored 130 points in every single game except for his quarterfinal match against Scott Altman. There was a 50-point Gorn ship that Joseph didn't manage to kill, but otherwise he had 130 each game. And so he was pretty much an irresistible force. And on the other side, Jordan had not lost a ship the entire day. So he had shut out every single player leading up to the finals and was definitely looking like the immovable object. So it was a big question as to who would prevail in this final match. And just to set the stage at the final table here, it had been a long day. A lot of the players were gone. There were just a few spectators left. My son James and I and Todd Bullock had front row seats. All 3 of us are from the Fremont, California group of Attack Wing players who play at Game Castle in Fremont. David Montgomery and Robert Fletcher are also part of that group. Robert was not able to attend the event, but he had provided a lot of assistance to Joseph in preparing his fleet, and also to Todd Bullock for preparing his fleet. So we were all really interested in how Todd and James were doing earlier on, and then at the end here how Joseph and his fleet were doing. So Todd was reporting via text messages to Robert, and it was really important to James to get a complete record of the game. And so he had set up his iPhone and his tripod, and in addition to getting video, he also really wanted full notes of the game. So he was frantically whispering pretty much the whole hour to me about what the players had done, what was going on, what they had forgotten to do, anything that came up. So I was frantically taking notes during the game and managed to look up every few minutes and took a couple pictures. But basically, most of our record of this game is thanks to James and his interest in it. So we definitely hope you enjoy this video and the details that we have about it.
So at this point, we see obstacles on the board. We see ships on the board. Obstacles, from the notes that we have, Jordan's placed a space station, a derelict ship, and a space station. Joseph placed a debris, asteroids, and a derelict ship, in that order. Jordan also won initiative roll, and that handy-dandy, creepy skeleton Gorn in the foreground, that's your initiative marker. Jordan is on the left side, Joseph is on the right side. Also, captain skills to note at this point. Jordan has a 4, a 5, a 7, an 8. Joseph has a 2, a 7, a 7, and an 8. One of his 7s is a con, Gen Con, and so that's going up.
Up to a 9.
Okay, now why does that go to 9? Because just in going through all the captain skills, the highest I read was 8. Oh, he's probably got an Admiral on there.
Yeah, Admiral
okay.
First.
There we go. So, I know their builds have been posted multiple places, and they are some of the most detailed builds. In fact, we should probably take a moment to pause the video and go through their builds.
Okay, so let's start with Joseph's fleet. His first ship is the Hathaway, which is always a good ship. Second action ability is always nice.
Yeah, that's been a solid ship for a long, long, long time.
Yes, it has. It's also been a solid retail expansion for a long time. We have a captain of Ponsing, Gen Con, common captain to see at Worlds, both in prizes and in playing, for this world at least. The elite comes on the Azadi Prime. It's Ibix Dynasty. It's adding the weapons of Tactical Station. It also has Ferengi Photon Torpedoes, Biomimetic Gel, and Maxwell Force to Admiral.
Now, for people not familiar with Biomimetic Gel,
yeah,
start becoming familiar with Biomimetic Gel. It is probably the sleeper card of Worlds.
Yeah.
Because it is not only copy one card, it's copy one card per round. And
per 2 rounds.
Yeah, it's basically just keep picking the best things and copy.
Yeah. I mean, there's always the chance that you'll lose it, but because of the die roll.
Well, sure. But there's always a chance of that with anything, and you might as well exploit it while it's there.
True.
James, were there other people with Biomimetic Gel that you saw at Worlds, or was it just these two?
Well, I didn't run it. I don't think anybody else run it. I think his name was Andrew. I think he might have run it. Not sure about that, though. If not, then these are the only 2 builds that ran it. Mm-hmm. Shows that more people should run it.
Definitely.
Hindsight.
Yeah. Also, these 2 fleets are the only ones that ran Crew Kurt from the Kelvin Timeline pack, I think.
That's another one to start getting familiar with.
But instead, ran Elam Garrick.
I feel like I have myself to blame because I love that Garrick, but hyper defense might have been a little less noticeable than. Well, okay, I'll put it this way. Garrick isn't important if your opponent is canceling attacks. It's only if they're rolling and canceling dice.
Yeah. I mean, the reason I ran it is because Kirk was 1 point too expensive.
Oh, yeah, fair. The other side of that is you make a way to get that point, but sometimes you can't. Yeah, and then of course Joseph's got conditional surrender. You know, that Hathaway is just super, super solid. It's kind of a take on what he ran last year at Nationals, which again was a very solid ship, except it also had warp jump, but of course warp jump is no more.
It's true.
And then he's got the the now lovely 6-point Romulan science vessel.
That is a viable ship.
I mean,
but not necessarily in a 21 Swarm fleet.
No. But any ship with a base cost of 6 points is viable. And then to that, he added Carr, and not Carr for the fact that he's got a good captain skill or ability or anything like that. No, because he's got 2 elite talents.
Yeah.
And to that, you put on lure and faked messages. Because you want to be that guy.
Who doesn't?
Well, I will admit I have won many a game with lure and faked messages. And it's not just to fly your opponent off the board. It is to control their maneuvers when they don't want their maneuvers to be controlled.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. This game is all about maneuvering, and when you get to, for 2 rounds, tell your opponent, at least one of their ships, no, you don't get to pick your maneuver, I'm doing that for you.
It's a strong ability.
It's a very strong combo. Yeah, and then, of course, Varel on that. Portable transwarp beaming device, because who doesn't love a second use of Varel?
And he also biogelled Varel, I think.
Yeah, so who doesn't love like 3 or 4 uses of Varel? And captured because points. And then, some fighters, because fighters are fun.
Yeah.
And Galler-class phaser banks and coordinated attack, because, well, if you're going to have fighters, you might as well shoot at range 3 and have battle stations.
Yeah.
And then the mini clown car with another Romulan science vessel, Calvin Hudson, a Romulan pilot, Quark hiding, I can't tell what that was.
Projected stasis field.
Yes.
Believe it or not.
Okay, I mean, big shocker. I'm pretty sure Quark hides projected stasis field, and if he doesn't hide projected stasis field, he's hiding cloaked mines?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's now one of those two. Auto navigation, which auto nav is a very interesting include in my mind.
I'd agree with that.
I mean, I'm never one to question Joseph, but it's the card in all of this that makes me scratch my head. And I think it's because I just don't see it played. AutoNav is one of those cards that it gives you a decent amount of play, but it's one that I'm not sure that the slot use, the points associated with it, ever actually do it. But it is giving you a tech slot.
Yeah.
And maybe
it's also
no, go ahead.
It's also protecting you from lure and fake messages, and also from bad maneuvering, which doesn't often happen to him.
True. And maybe he wants the low captain skill.
Yeah. And I do think in the actual game, he actually made use of auto nav as kind of a last second thing, not any great planning, but just suddenly realized, I can use that, and I wish I had set that. So because you decided a little later.
Sure. It's what refresh my memory. What's that the elite talent that came on the Romulan ship, the Sailor's Warbird, that then got errated?
Reverse course.
Yes. It's what that used to be, which was, I don't really like my maneuver. I want to do a 1 reverse.
Or 2 reverse.
Exactly. But it was, it's my turn to reveal my dial. I don't want to do a 3 bank. I want to back up. AutoNav's got a bit of that to it. Not entirely, but at least a miniature version of it. And then, of course, that science vessel also has Meridor, Gornail, and Captured, because you couldn't have Meridor without Captured. And if you're going to have Calvin Hudson, you might as well have Captured, because it's free, and who really cares about 1 extra die on a science vessel against a science vessel? Oh, and that ship, I said Romulan pilot, but Romulan pilot's almost necessary because of the scan token, the extra maneuver. Romulan Pilot is such a good card.
And for 2 points.
Yeah.
1 point.
Well, 1 point here with
with
Calvin's discount, but even at 2 points, even at 3 points, Romulan Pilot would be a great card. At least a good card. Maybe not great, but good.
Also a potential candidate for hiding under Damon Solak.
Yeah, I'm not bitter about Ferengi. You can't prove that. So anyways, that is Joseph's build, and solid as you would expect. Now we get to Jordan's build, and boy, is there a clown car if I ever saw one.
Potentially 3 labeled clown cars, depending on what defines a clown car.
If I have to take a breath in the middle of reading the list, like I'm going to, that's a clown car.
Yeah.
So here is Jordan's build, the first ship, Lurin's build of prey. Y'all ready for this? All right, Lurin's bird of prey, Calvin Hudson, crew, James T. Kirk, Ibex Dynasty, Natasha Yar, Goroth, Sakona, cargo hold, chemosite, interface generator, tactical station, torpedo bay, photon torpedoes, biomimetic gel, triphasic emitter, photon detonation, disruptor cannon, rapid reload, and Meridorgon Ale. And, I mean, that's got to have captured on it, right?
No, the Ferengi transfers into independent.
Oh, right. Of course. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's captured? Yeah. Okay. Hey, I didn't have to take a breath in that, but still, that's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 upgrades. Yeah, that's a clown car.
I'm not sure if you said this, but under triphasic emitters is weapon ports.
I did not.
Okay.
Because I don't have that on the build sheet, but yes, weapon ports. And I mean, foreshadowing, but weapon ports is the star card to put under triphasic emitters.
Yes.
Because, I mean, the build covers a lot, but what it doesn't cover are fighters.
Yeah.
And so you might as well have a card that covers fighters.
Also, the benefit of having it underneath triphasic emitters is that you're never going to get the -1 defense die.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be gone immediately.
There's your expert analysis, folks. All right, but that's just the one ship. And that was 42 points of ship, and boy, that's a ship. Then he's got...
That was only 42.
I know. Then he's got a generic Brow class with Lurin, conditional surrender, Quark, and what's Quark hiding?
Quark is hiding, believe it or not.
Projected stasis field?
Yeah.
I mean, big shocker. And then that has Ferengi photon torpedoes, cargo hold with...
interface generator and Grawl.
Yep.
Because Grawl is 0.
And Meridorgon Ale.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing shocking there. Nothing that catches my eye and makes me go, wonder... No, that's all really solid, good stuff. Then his third ship is another generic Brel with Damon Solak. And what crew was under Solak?
Romulan Pilot and Second of 5.
There you go. With Admiral Worf.
Yes.
It is wonderful to see Mirror Admiral Worf still in use.
Yes.
You would think with cloaking still giving you bonus defense dice no matter what phase you're in, Admiral Worf sees a little bit less play, and that's true. But I think that, bonus attacks are always good.
They are.
And then he's got 2 talents, DNA encoded messages, that's under Solak, and conditional surrender, that's under Admiral Worf. I like how Jordan's denoted all of this. Crew Goval, and that's presumably for Second of 5.
Probably.
Yeah, you would think.
Or the other card.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have flexibility. Ferengi Photon Torpedoes, Interface Generator, and Meridor Goranale. Because why not? And then his final ship is a Romulan science vessel with Martok, Diplomacy, and Varel. And I would assume that's the Martok that gives bonus
free
attack
action.
die. Oh, free action Martok. Okay.
Also, underneath DNA encoded messages.
Right.
Is dishonorable tactics, detonation codes, and defense condition 1.
Because who doesn't love either blowing up a mine, getting bonus battle stations, or I'm blanking on what the first talent does.
Dishonorable tactics
is
when you're attacking with your primary weapon, you can target a friendly ship at range 1 to 3 to disable an upgrade to reroll a die,
or
discard that to reroll it a second time.
Okay. Because who doesn't love being able to do that? I mean, it's the Swiss Army card. I like DNA encoded messages. And I probably didn't say it, but I at least had the thought that when that card came out, that's a Jordan card. Sorry, that's a Jordan Kott card. There are certain cards that us mere mortals play, and then there are cards that only Jordan can play. And DNA encoded messages is not necessarily one of those cards, but for best use, go see Jordan.
Yeah.
All right. So those are the fleets. And I mean, I have the advantage of knowing how this match turns out, as does everybody else. But on paper, you look at those fleets, and if they played this match 50 times, it's going 25-25.
Yeah.
This is a coin flip fleet. This comes down to who flies better, who makes a mistake first, and who has dice that roll. Or don't roll. These fleets are both absolutely solid, and we're going to watch one really awesome slugfest of two titans of Star Trek Attack Wing. So, I'm ready for that. And hopefully, we're going to have fun with this.
So right away, both players use their biomimetic gel.
Yeah. Joseph goes on to Varel, and then Jordan's, I think, goes on to Grell.
Yeah. Jordan started mining platinum right away.
He also discards Quark to get PSF out there immediately.
And that's probably a move to not forget.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want to do is leave a utility on the table.
Yeah.
What Joseph did when he was at the start of the game is he literally put his card on the table
with the token
to remind everyone that he was planning on playing this, and it wasn't quite time yet, but I'm not going to forget that one.
Yeah. And I've seen that play. It's solid play. It's a good option to A, remind yourself, and B, remind your opponent. You're tipping your hand, but you're not, especially when Jen Sisko isn't in the game.
Yeah.
Not much I can do about it. Yeah.
Right. So at that point you're saying, it's either your turn to do this or it's my turn to do it, but either way I'm going to do it. All right, so we've got some ships moving at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fairly slow movement, but it's also very deliberate movement. Note that Joseph set his Calvin ship up very much off to the side, away from engagement. But the way Jordan set up is that's, at least at this point, the first ship that's potentially under fire. It's not going to be, but it's at least the first ship that's being eyed. What this all creates is there's going to be flying around these obstacles. Not through it. I trust these players a lot more than actually having them fly around well, not around, they will fly around them, but fly through an obstacle, lose an
Yeah.
action, roll a die, see what happens. They're just not going to do that unless they absolutely have to. And they're also in the point where whatever they need to cloak, they're going to get cloaked. Whatever they don't want cloaked, they're not cloaking. They've flown these fleets, 5 times today, come out 5-0, and they have flown them countless times in practice and theory, and you can tell when the top players are playing the top of their game and not making mistakes, and that's what their setup is right now.
It's of note that Joseph bumped with his RSV way in the corner. He can use lure and fake messages from far distances, so he's in no hurry to engage.
Right. I would venture to say that's deliberate.
Yes, I would agree.
It's absolutely deliberate to stay sitting in that corner as long as possible.
And another thing to note here, what just happened, this was the end of the first round, and Jordan had cloaked his RSV, and he just decided to decloak it at the end.
Yeah.
In view of potentially being lured here. He was at risk of dying because since he's cloaked, he had no shields up and he only had 2 holes. So if he gets lured into that debris token, that's potential 2 damage.
There's a 50-50 chance that he'll die.
Yeah.
Huh.
So he started with a cloak, and then he pulled the cloak off at the end, and Joseph announced to us that it was really disappointing because he had gotten his hopes up. And no one's really sure whether he did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Now, so you made note that you asked the judge, Henry, who by and large did a great job, if removing time tokens is a voluntary action. And he said yes, which to me feels weird.
Yeah.
Because to me, time is linear and time tokens are a state of the game, and both players are responsible for game state. So if one of them forgets to remove a time token, the other should remind them to remove the time token. And and if it's caught even later, a time token should be removed because it isn't an option to not remove a time token. Because like other cards have time tokens that serve as countdowns, and you can only use a card while a time token is in effect. It's the card that lets you look at maneuver dials. Right, I forget what card that is, but it's
Temporal Observatory.
Yeah, okay, so Temporal Observatory, and you could forget that there's time tokens on that card, or you could forget to remove a time token, and then it's a benefit to you.
Yeah.
So, and I say forget with air quotes, and I don't know, that feels like it's going against sportsmanship. I just feel like a time token should have to be removed, period.
Yeah.
But then again, I have my problems with WizKids and the way they tell their judges not to be active judges.
Yeah, we were in a little bit of a dilemma because I guess, there's no nerves on our side. So James was noticing all kinds of things.
Oh, yeah,
players forgot to do time tokens
And Joseph also voluntarily removed it during, I think, the combat phase.
Yes, when he noticed. And we weren't really sure whether to intervene or not.
I mean, that's something that is probably not okay by, like, the legalese of the rules, but did it impact the game? No. Because the time token should have been removed. Like that's one, it's like, yeah, they're playing at the top of the game, but it's also for a world title. There's nerves, period. I don't care if you're talking about the defending world champ and the player who has won countless nationals and never won a worlds. Like, there's nerves.
Yeah. Also, the initiative was not swapped at this point, so it still shows Jordan, but it's actually Joseph.
Yes.
Oh, round 2, yeah.
Yeah, so we're in round 2 at this point. Hopefully that Gorn gets moved eventually, but I don't know.
It gets moved by several hands behind the camera.
Ah, yes. I don't know. I like the Gorn. The Gorn's fun.
Yeah.
There are more Gorn out in the wild now. So. Yeah, and it is, while the players are setting dice, we can see Jordan's are set. Joseph's taking his time, which is, it's good and it's bad. I want to point out, there is absolutely nothing wrong, especially at this point, for players to take their time setting dials.
Yeah.
I used to, when I did battle reviews, I used to kind of cut out the movement planning phase because it's the least interesting to watch.
Yeah.
But it is also the most important choices you make when you're playing the game. Games are won and lost with maneuvers you make. They're not won and lost with the actions you decide to take, and they are won and lost with die rolls. But your ability to make the die rolls are won and lost by the maneuvers you're taking. And the kind of the echelons of players are determined by their ability to plot maneuvers. So here we go into round 2 with actual maneuvers. I believe, there's at least notes saying that Joseph has lured Jordan's scout vessel.
And right now Joseph is doing a super complex maneuver.
With RSV.
On his first turn, he did a hard right, and on the second turn, he did a hard left, coupled with
a Romulan pilot.
Yes.
As well as a sensor echo in the middle.
Yes.
With his cloaked RSV. So
and
he
then
echoed
a free
over
action
the right
on the
to
pilot.
avoid the obstacle, and then he went ahead, which gets him pretty far ahead on the board here.
The Romulan pilot was 2 ahead.
Yeah, it's almost like Joseph's planned that and done that before. But yeah, the path that scout vessel takes, if you're unsure, go ahead, pause the video, rewind the video, look at where it starts, and look at where it is now. You would never picture that it starts basically off camera, practically, and ends up on the far side of that obstacle. That's crazy to me. I can't pull off maneuvers like that. I've tried. I've come close. I end up hitting that obstacle.
So Jordan now moves 3 of his ships, all of the Burrells.
And worth noting that he's also biogelled Romulan pilot at this point. So that is where he's either has or is going to do a sensor echo and then a 2 ahead with his Romulan pilot.
He revealed Romulan pilot under Solok instead of second of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that was Joseph who did that.
Jordan revealed Romulan pilot under Demon Solok.
Yeah.
And so what's happening here is Joseph's fleet is primarily on the far end of the board, and so Jordan started off going forward, and now he's sort of sensor echoing over to the left to engage Joseph more directly.
Yes. Oh, and hey, there's initiative moving.
There we go.
Did they remember that, or was that you?
I think that was actually you, after me telling you to.
Yeah.
Well, it got moved. That's what's important.
And this part here, this measuring was really tricky because they're trying to decide if the 2 ships are in range, but they can't just put the ruler down on the ground or on the mat because there's an obstacle in the way and nobody wants to move the obstacle.
As you shouldn't.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, it's like you got to hold the obstacle. Can we get like a 5th hand in there?
Good collaboration by the opponents here.
I think Henry's hand is in there somewhere.
Yeah,
It was.
I feel like the judge has to get in there. And I will note, this is where con badges around the neck are terrible.
Yes.
Like, they're going to... They are one of the most tedious things, because they are going to knock over a ship, and it's like, well, now what do we do?
They inhibited me from getting an effective torpedo fusillade in round 2.
Oh, really?
Because I knocked over my dreadnought.
One option I've seen people do is you can kind of take it off. You wear pocket shirts, and so you clip it to a pocket. Or I
just put it on my back.
Yeah, you can do that too. A lot of people flip it around. And if security comes by, you're like, hey, it's on the back.
Yeah,
I'm still here. You do those things. It's the upside and downside of having it at a con.
Yeah.
So what was the final verdict on that, the range? Was it range?
The range was in.
Okay.
We decided it was in range, but after all of that multi-hand measuring and everything, I think Jordan forgot to take an action with his ship, his Lurin ship. So like you said, nerves for everyone.
Yeah. Well, that's going to happen.
I think that would be with his Hudson Bird of Prey. Lurin is currently out of range of anything but his own ships.
Right. So there may be a ship within range 3, but Lurin is not within range 3 of other ships. So you've got the transitive property does not apply here.
No.
So Jordan just got lured into that debris token there. We saw the 1 dice roll, and it came up a critical, which was an interesting point because no one was really sure. Does that mean there was no extra damage, or does that mean there was an extra critical damage? And so we had multiple people scrambling for their notes to look it up.
And then Jordan, out of the blue at the end, reveals that happened to him.
And so the consensus eventually was that, yes, he had rolled a crit, and so there was the 1 normal damage, but also an additional crit, which was a munitions failure.
Oh. That's never good.
No weapons on that ship.
Oh,
it's RSV, yeah. That's the Martok action ship.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, I was... On that note, well, we've got at least a couple seconds here. I was hoping the new damage deck would have things... Well, A would be a new damage deck, but would have cards like munitions failure to discard crew and tech and perhaps... I don't know. But
then that would make a difference whether you have the old starter set or the new.
No, you'd be forced to play with the new starter set.
If you don't own that.
Well, yeah. Well, you just got to play with a new starter. You got to play with a new deck.
Also of note here was that even though Jordan collided with the obstacle, he could still gift an action with his Martok.
Yes.
He just couldn't take an action with his ship.
It's the same ruling as bumping. Which is, I mean, it's a fair ruling. It's Martok's ship is incapable of doing things, but Martok's still a competent enough leader to say, hey, you over there, go do stuff. As long as that ship was legal. Boy, you notice that every time Henry hits the table, the camera shakes.
It's kind of a cheap tripod, I'm afraid.
No, it's
$5 at Staples.
$5 and we got it in like 2 minutes.
You know what? You can't. I can't fault you for that because without the tripod, this video would be far more shaky.
Oh yeah. Right around when Joseph is doing his Hathaway move, he's considering turning it into a 4 ahead, but I think he said he doesn't.
Yeah, this was when the controversy about measuring
happened.
Okay.
What happened was he revealed a 2 ahead and was trying to decide whether to convert it to a 4 ahead with Chemosite, and was measuring to
decide whether he wanted to do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I will hold myself back on that. I will say, for the sake of commentary, I don't see the problem with briefly doing things like that. The problem becomes, how do you define briefly, and how do you define a reasonable time, and then versus slow play, and everything mattering. I kind of chalk it up to, it's the World Championship. Let players play at their best, however that needs to happen.
Also giving them time to place obstacles.
Right. I mean,
that's important.
Yeah. Which I think did happen, but I honestly wouldn't know when exactly time started, so. I mean, I get that this tournament was run a little faster due to the events of Origins and players having to leave and all of that, because when tournaments run late, it hurts everybody. And that Hathaway ended up doing a 4, it looks like, and then did an Admiral Forrest 1.
Yeah, 1 straight.
So really did like a 6 ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chemosite's ridiculous. I just want to say it's a little ridiculous.
Nailed it.
I mean, it's a great card, but it is severely underpriced. I mean, the fact that you want to go and put it off faction,
it would still be playable at 4, maybe.
Oh yeah,
maybe higher.
Yeah, but it's a very good card, and we need very good cards in the game.
Yeah.
Another thing to note here is how many attack cancellation cards Jordan had in his fleet. Interface generator, conditional surrender, interface generator, conditional surrender, interface generator, diplomacy. And he told us afterwards that he took a look at that Hathaway and just said, I'm not going to let that ship touch me. So he was basically going to cancel it.
And also that he wasn't going to touch that ship at all.
I see. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you have to pick your battles in a 1-hour time format, and you have to understand that some ships are not killable inside of 1 hour.
Mm-hmm. Also, Jordan has Ibix Dynasty.
Oh, right.
Yes, that's the other thing. So you're looking at Lawrence has 2.
Ferengi Burrell has 2. Ferengi Burrell has 1. And then RSV.
Well, and the other side of it is that Romulan science vessel with diplomacy. The thing people don't realize about diplomacy is you are taking an opponent ship out of combat as well. So you're not only canceling an attack, but you're preventing them from even making the attack.
Also on the science vessel is Varel.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to say Varel. Yeah. I don't think Jordan had biomimetic gel it, so that's what he just canceled, and so Varel was actually gone from Jordan's side. But
so he has 8 attack cancels, 2 on each ship.
That feels right.
And you start to see why Jordan had lost 0 ships up to this point.
Well, yeah, because nobody has the firepower to get through that many. You have to make so many attacks and survive so many attacks in order to get through those attack cancels. And
with 4 ships against you, that's tough to do.
Right, and most people, if they're not geared for making a volume of attacks. I mean, something with torpedo fusillade is probably rolling enough attack dice at enough ships that he would have to cancel 1 of each.
Yeah.
Okay, that helps, but now you go from 8 down to 4. Okay, you still got to eat 4 attack cancels.
Like something like Plasma Pulse in addition to Torpedo Fusillade.
Yeah, but the problem with Plasma Pulse is I don't know that it's really running enough attack dice to scare them. Because
I mean, there's ways to make it more, but that's expensive.
Yeah.
On top of the 5 points.
Yeah, and that's the it's trade-off, right? It's do you go for quantity or quality And what Jordan's fleet has is not only quantity of attack cancels, but the best ways to get them. And then
the cheapest.
He's got the quantity of them, and then he's got a pretty good offensive fire punch coming back.
Yeah.
At least on 3 of the ships.
6 dice on all of them, I think.
Right. I mean, how do you compete against
Mirador, yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously target locks and GPLT.
Yeah, Gold Press Platinum. I still shake my head at the whole mechanic. I mean, I love what it can do, but the fact that they gave us so many cards to get so many more tokens, just feels wrong.
Like you can get 16 on one captain if you're good.
And if you devote all the upgrades to doing that.
But I mean, they're not all non-unique.
Right, and that's the other side of it. And with Gel and Goval and stuff like that, it's not impossible to generate a lot very quickly.
So, there was some pretty key stuff that just happened in the game.
Yes.
On the topic of attack cancellation, the one attack that you don't really want to cancel is a 1-die attack, because like with the interface generator, you're going to take a damage anyway. So that was what just got through. Remember that Jordan's RSV was down to just 1 hole left, and that elaborate maneuver from Joseph with his own Romulan science vessel got him barely in range, and he rolled 1 hit with his 1 die, and Jordan rolled 2 blank defense dice, and that was it.
Yeah, which
also because he wasn't obstructed.
He had a scan from Romulan pilot, which would have cut it down to 1. Oh, right.
Yeah.
It would have been 3 dice, but the scan cut it down to 2, and because of Joseph's fine-tuned planning, the attack was not obstructed. Right?
Yeah. Which, from your notes, this is where Jordan said that's game.
That was what I said in my original, the first night when I wrote it. But upon listening to the recording, what he said was, "That's it," which I think he meant that's it for that ship.
Okay.
So,
he says, "Oh, that's it. Beautifully done, sir."
I overreacted a little bit in my on-the-site reporting.
Which, he may have meant, it is possible that he meant that's game. But knowing Jordan as little as I do, I mean, I played against him once. I spent a couple of days around him last year at Origins. I do not take him as the kind of person who will give up after 1 ship goes down. I think he knew that I got a tough road to go here, and losing Martok definitely makes my job harder. But if there is a weak link in his fleet, it was that.
Yeah. He was relying on the gift action and diplomacy also, so that was a blow that he hadn't gotten to use as much.
And
maybe taking off the fighters.
And I will say that, there's the old saying that everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
Well,
Mike Tyson, right?
I think so. Well, Jordan had a plan, and he was executing his plan through Swiss, through quarters, through semis, and just now he got punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
Right? He had a plan the whole time, and it was working beautifully, and now he's got to adapt.
And he's got Latinum, he's got Mirador.
And unknown technically to Joseph is fighter counters.
Right. Jordan has not had to reveal his weapon ports under his triphasic emitters. That's another thing that we didn't see much from the other players was fighters.
Yeah.
I think only Thomas.
Thomas.
Was the other one who ran fighters at Worlds.
He ran Fighter Squadron 1.
And fortunately for Jordan, he is one of the best on-the-fly players that I've seen.
He certainly has a lot of cards to work with.
Yeah. But he can adapt to any situation. I mean, both of these guys have played enough attack wing and been in enough situations, been ahead, been behind, been up against the wall with a phaser pointed at their head, to be figurative, and come out of it. They've found a way out of it. You know, a world championship, totally different. But, I mean, Jordan was up against longer odds last year against Peter and found a way to win. So, I would never count Jordan out, is what I'll say at this point. And I don't think he's counting himself out. It's kind of the rough thing when we all know Joseph, because Joseph posts a lot in the Facebook community and was on State of the Federation, right? We hear him, we know about him. We don't know a lot about Jordan, but yeah, Jordan's all kinds of competent.
Right about now, there's cloaked mines being placed.
Yes.
And a fake message just happened on...
right, the close ship.
I think on Solok.
Yeah, Damon Solok was forced to go straight rather than joining the rest of Jordan's fleet and heading off to the left where Joseph is.
Yeah. And then the cloaked mines were placed directly on top of the obstacle.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do that.
Oh yeah, you can put cloaked mines on a planet. You can put them all kinds of everywhere.
Like you place them on the planet to stop interceptors from just orbiting in a planet.
Yes, it typically what happens, at least what I've seen, is you put them near the edge of a planet to prevent people from getting close to the planet.
Or from, like, evading you through the planet.
That too.
The cloaked mines, basically, not quite, but after they move, they get removed.
Okay. I think at this point we've also seen halftime called.
Yes.
Which makes sense. I mean, from the video standpoint, we're about halftime. Although, as I'm saying that, we'll probably have wrap-up discussion afterwards. So probably not actually halftime. And here, after the fake message, we've got Jordan doing Meridor on 2 of his birds of prey.
Yes.
I think both Calvin and Lurin,
yeah,
I'd say.
And I think on the Hudson bird of prey, he's decreasing it by 1 instead of 2.
2.
Oh, 2 on both?
Yeah. There was discussion which was confusing.
Yeah.
But eventually it was clarified that Jordan was just being clear.
Yeah.
That even though everyone does it for 2.
He was stating that he had the option to do that. He was just
clarifying
not
that
to.
Yes. So that's what's being done. It's always good to say that, like we've said, like I've said numerous times, in a world championship, because the last thing you want to do is be unclear.
Yeah.
I think Joseph replied something on the order of, yeah, sometimes at the end of the game you might want to just do 1 so that you can attack sooner, since your captain skill doesn't go down as much.
Yeah.
Try to win.
Also, Jordan is using James T. Kirk to get battle stations on the Hudson, the Lurin's bird of prey.
Yeah.
As well as skill 2, to get it back to skill 7. From Meridor.
Which is another great use of Kirk.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get drunk, lose our captain skill. Oh wait, here's this way to come back.
Yeah.
We've seen how Kirk fights when he's intoxicated. So.
See, that's another excellent point. You know, we are here doing an analysis of a world championship game. This is all about crunch, but it's nice when some fluff comes in.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that Kirk is the one who smuggled the Meridor Gornale onto this bird of prey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the benefits of being so far from home.
In the Red Nebula.
Probably happened after Romulus was destroyed.
Yeah.
And they are taking their time to make sure that everything is clear, concise, understood before they get rolling here, which I don't fault them.
And Joseph activates Kirk on the Hathaway to do the same thing. Captain skill 11.
Right, and this is...
Once we get battle stations, I assume.
Yeah.
And this is round 3, so initiative is back with Jordan.
Which we can't see on camera. But
that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not ideal, but it's fine. You got to remember the players are playing the game. They're not playing to camera.
Yeah.
All right. So now we've actually got things moving. Oh, this is why you've said that those mines aren't lasting for long, because under DNA encoded messages, Jordan has detonation codes, and those mines,
which he chooses to reveal.
Yeah, those mines are going to go boom.
I think he said that was the only time he used detonation codes that entire.
Yeah, we didn't see a huge amount of mines. Did we?
You played some in the side events.
Well, detonation codes are one of those cards you want to have around. DNA encoded messages let you bring them without committing to them. And like we discussed in the open, it's, hey, if you don't need det codes, then you've got Defense Con 1, and now you've got battle stations?
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
And a bunch of other ships, I think, have battle stations as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's your ship and all friendly ships at range
1 to
2. Yeah. I mean, obviously not a card played here, but it was at least a thought process that went through the brain. So,
yeah,
it's like bringing Shins on and having access to 4 talents, except it's good.
Yeah.
Now, Jordan, despite having been forced to go forward with fake messages here, he had Romulan Pilot in his pocket, so he was able to do a 1 bank left, I guess, to get an arc for detonation codes.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. I don't know if detonation codes has to be an arc, but I'm not good at that.
Yeah, well, in any event, to get him into the mix a little bit.
Yeah.
Instead of plowing forward double game.
Maybe to get him range of detonation codes and then arc of a possible target.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be an arc, but it has to be in range.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like a target to attack.
Roughly.
Although it doesn't look like that happened. Unless you can attack derelict ships.
Don't believe so, but...
Here's another point where we observed something. He used detonation codes and should have discarded it, but left it up. So we conferred and eventually decided that's another involuntary thing. So we just reminded them.
I mean, discarding is like placing time tokens, which is also like removing time tokens.
I don't think it's voluntary, though.
I don't think any of that is voluntary.
No, it's not like there was another minefield that could be removed, so detonation codes had served its purpose. I will say from doing enough of these, if you watch players play, you will always find mistakes that they have made.
Yes.
Always.
It's just something that happens.
Yes.
It was interesting to see it at this level.
Oh, yeah. And as we've talked,
but, I mean, it's
nerves.
More common at this level? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Is it more common?
I mean, at this level of play, not at this level of player.
Yeah, is it more common? I don't know. I think what it can almost be is players make changes to their builds, and they're using cards that they know what the cards do, but they may not know all the wording. And so they just say, I'm using this. We all know what it does, but they forget that it has that certain caveat.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, to be real technical, every discard card should say, like, action. do this stuff, then discard this card.
Yeah.
Right.
But
So it's not like action, flip over the card, now you can't see the text, ha ha ha.
Exactly. But what are we, grammar nerds? No.
Some of us, but not wizards.
There was an interesting rules discussion here as well. Jordan wanted to clarify whether he was allowed to use his Luren's Bird of Prey ability, even though Luren's Bird of Prey had been PSF'd by Joseph.
That was ruled to be an okay thing to do because it wasn't committing to attacking.
So he could grant the other ship the ability to attack first this round.
Interesting.
Even though he himself did not.
Yeah.
All I will say is, interesting. I don't know either way. That's one I'd probably flip a coin and just say, yep, nope.
A 3-sided coin.
Fortunately, Henry had a ready and reasonable answer, and it was quickly answered, and they proceeded with the game. So
30 seconds.
That was nice.
Yeah. Then again, Worf says that if you're cloaked and you're stunned helmsman, you do or you don't flip your cloak. I don't know, but whichever way it is, I disagree with it.
Yeah.
I think you should. So they probably say that you don't.
Flip your cloak.
Yeah.
Since it states that the next time you are attacking.
Yeah. And you can't attack if you're cloaked, or if you attack while cloaked, you flip your cloak. But I don't want to be the guy that's just grousing about the rules, because that's not the point here. The point here really is, well, hey, if you're going to bring the ability, maybe you get to use it.
Yeah. The Hathaway, I don't think, has done this yet, but it's doing 4 ahead, and then an Admiral Force 1 sharp left, and then no Hathaway special action.
Okay. Probably because he doesn't want to get oxed.
Yeah. He wants the ability to do all of his maneuvers.
Yeah.
Also, I think the Hathaway has a 1 back.
I think it's a 2 back? No, it's a 1 back. I'm like, wait, I flew this enough last year, I should know. Yeah, it's a 1 back because the Constitution has a 2 back.
Yeah.
And you can't line up a Constellation and a Constitution. You have to fly them staggered.
That's an option, but if it's in precise maneuvering, then you can go off the edge.
Yeah, you don't want to, and nobody wants that.
No.
Well, your opponent wants that, but...
Yeah.
Yes, I would say the reason that Joseph doesn't do a Hathaway action is he wants at least the ability to reverse, or have Jordan think that he might reverse.
Yes. Although Jordan said that he wasn't going to attack the Hathaway, and that proved to be true.
Still, thinking your opponent might exist in a place is different than wanting to attack it. Because you have to account for where it can be, and that affects your positional flying.
Yeah.
Because if you know, right, if that Hathaway has an ox on it, you know that the Hathaway can't possibly reverse. So it has to come forward in some way. That changes the places you can be and be safe.
Yeah.
And that level of thought sounds really nerdy. And if you're watching this and going, David, stop overthinking it. I'm not overthinking it. That's the level that these players are going to.
Something that I just noticed now is that if the Hathaway did have an ox, like if it did a 3 sharp left or something, then Luren's Bird of Prey it did have the Hathaway in arc, could have used Disruptor Cannon with quality to get a 7 dice attack.
And that might be a reason to attack the Hathaway.
Yeah, because they have an ox.
And that's probably another reason to not put an ox on the Hathaway unnecessarily. It's the Hathaway is an ability that you want to use when necessary, not just because it's there.
Yeah.
You want to have it available next turn, too. Yeah.
Right, and you want to have it available without necessarily performing a green maneuver.
Right.
Yeah. Because I think it just has the 4 standard green maneuvers. Not like the
it does.
Constitution refit.
Yeah, it's only the 4. Believe me, I am intimately acquainted with that dial.
I believe you. I believe a lot of higher up players.
Well, I'm not familiar with a lot of dials. I flew the Hathaway a lot.
Yeah.
For one weekend. I probably put 15 games on my Hathaway.
With an average of 5 rounds.
No, with an average of like 8.
Okay, I guess you play faster than we do then.
If
we get like an average of 2 rounds.
No, if I had only played 5 rounds with the double warp jump on each ship, my opponents would have called judge on slow play the whole time.
Yeah.
Last year I may have been winning cheesily, but I was not going to win by slow play.
Yeah. You better hope that Hathaway doesn't somehow lose a little bit of structural integrity with every warp jump you did, or may not last much longer.
Like disable all your shields, suffer a hole you can't attack.
There were so many ways they could have changed warp jump to be a little detrimental. Like, you come in, but your shields are disabled, and you have to roll an attack die to see if you take damage. Yeah. I mean, that would be legitimately scary. Do I want to warp jump? I don't know. I might take a crit to my hull.
I will say that your Hathaway that did had a lot of use on its dial.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It had over 120 settings on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It only got 2 used, pretty much. It was 1 forward, 1 back. Occasionally a 2 forward.
Yeah.
1 back. There was
main fleet.
Yeah. Okay, so there's some more stuff that's happened here. There's a lot of tokens going down. There's basically everything's got scan and cloak and
everything that can cloak is cloaked except for the RSV that's all the way out at the edge.
Yeah.
It's also worth mentioning here that Jordan used Grawl, and I also biomimetic gelled Grawl, so he was generating massive amounts of latinum and pulling those out right now for quality, for battle stations on.
Also, I'm not sure. I think he spent the GPLT that was on Grawl.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I mean, not the GPLT, the biomimetic gel token.
Yeah, Jordan had a real string of bad luck there. Joseph taking out his RSV and then immediately rolling a battle station with his biomimetic gel, which discarded that as well as Grawl.
Yes, but I will say, before that happened, he did not discard Grawl while spending the biomimetic gel as a part of triggering Grawl.
Oh, yeah, that's a problem.
But then he had to discard it with battle stations.
Dice don't lie. Sorry.
Unless you have quality.
Well, yeah, but it's an old saying from in basketball games when a bad foul's called and they're shooting free throws and then they miss them both. You say ball don't lie. Yeah. So here, dice don't lie. Justice is served anyways.
If only in basketball, when it went in, and when it didn't go in on a free throw, you could just walk up, grab it, and just toss it in. Just a little reroll.
Yeah, no.
We're seeing a very rare event
seeing
here,
a
which
very
is
rare
an actual
event.
attack.
A real attack roll?
Yes.
I mean, boy, that's
I believe that's a fighters against Hudson's vertical.
Yeah, that's
I'm not sure about
6 out of 7 hits.
For an attacking the.
Yeah, that's 7 dice is a lot, especially with disabling Galler class phaser banks to get that extra die.
And Joseph's going, I've got to take 5 hits, and I don't like it.
Yeah. And
how do I do this? That's shield. Yeah, I think he just realized I'm dead. No matter how I do math, I'm dead. Maybe if I multiply by I, I'm no longer dead.
Maybe if I do a square and then take the square root of that, it would be like some...
No.
He's not falling for that.
No, I think he just realized that he's dead. So yeah, now we've got a score of 23 to 15. I believe.
15.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yes, Lauren just destroyed the Arlenav RSV.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So that is Joseph's up, but
Yeah.
you're also looking at 3 ships to 2 ships now?
Yeah.
One ship for each fleet.
Romulan science vessel has died on each side.
That is true. With a
very
large
so
difference.
It's 3 ships, 3 ships. I'm wrong. Joseph had 4 ships.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, 2 ships and fighters.
Yes. Because you can't diplomacy a fighter. I made a comment to Dad right when the game ended where I said Joseph still has attack cancellations on all of his ships, even the dead
Right.
ones. And that didn't include fighters. Because
Right, because fighters aren't...
Yeah.
They're attack squadrons.
They're little
everybody...
pieces of plastic that take 5 hits to die.
Joseph's ship, his RSV that died, was the one with Calvin Hudson and captured on it, so it was a relatively cheap ship. It was only 15 points, despite having cards on it.
Also, it already laid down with mine. It had disabled auto nav.
That's what he's ahead.
And that's the problem with Hudson builds, is they have so much stuff, and when you finally kill them, they're worth so little.
Yeah. I've learned that from both angles.
The more they have, the less they're worth.
Yeah. Like 17 or 18 cards for 42 points. And, I mean, it's a Burrell, but it's still 18 points. That's a large defense roll. I think that's... Yeah, that's the Hathaway attacking Lurin.
Yeah, and that looks like 2 evades. I mean, Jordan's defense dice.
Hits from Joseph, and then Jordan rolls 3 blanks, 1 battle station, 2 evade. 3 hits go through. Spending interface. Takes to the hole.
Yeah. I will say that Jordan's defense dice have betrayed him.
Heavily.
He needs to... I hope he left those defense dice in Philadelphia, and I hope that he is procuring new defense dice. Because I tell you that I left a couple of attack dice in Columbus, and procured new ones after that.
No defense dice were harmed in the making of this video.
Oh, yes, they were.
He probably has some card hidden somewhere that lets him execute the dice with
Or maybe just like a hammer.
Yeah, 20-pound sledge. That's all you need.
Just smash an oversized board cube. Awesome.
Whoa. That board cube bends and may break before the die. My money would be on the die before the board cube.
The board cube will break before the die.
Yes. Yeah, I honestly believe that.
I could see that.
I think the board cube can bend when 77% of it has already been destroyed.
From having opened board cubes, my money's... They have their moments.
Smash a prototype on the die. That totally won't break anything of it.
I think you're talking about the most fragile ship of the game. No, the Pasture.
Yeah,
the Pasture was...
Also, maybe
the fighters. Any
fighters.
fighter model is worse.
I would say the old Enterprise refit, but it's just really bendy. It's not very breaky.
Well, the nacelles flop off, but after that...
I'm going to actually say the Vidian. They're cheaply made. They're like...
Yeah, but they were like a Happy Meal toy. Those might actually hold together.
That's true. Or a Burrell.
Yeah, Burrells will break.
Yeah. So, fragility of ships leading in from World Championship game.
It looks to me like I misspoke earlier. I think that When Jordan rolled the battle stations on his biogel, he just had to discard the biogel.
And Grawl.
Because according to this, he discarded Grawl with conditional surrender. I wonder if that was...
Well, that would be wrong. Either wrong in our recording or pivotal game changer. I have to take one or pretty fragile too.
Also of note here is at the end of round 3, Jordan actually had the option to take a shot with his back ship here, his Damon Solak ship.
That's true.
To try and take out the fighters.
Because it did have arc on them.
He left it cloaked and did not take the shot, even though there's 5 minutes left in the World Championship game, and he's down. He had the discipline to hold on and save.
Although, I will say that Jordan did know that he had weapon ports under Triphase Commander, so he's probably saving his attack to stay cloaked and still kill it.
So he can have Meridor in that last one, I guess. Yeah.
And also so that it can just stay cloaked. Extra dice.
Which is worth more, because he knows if he loses another ship, he's done.
Yeah.
Or he's got to take even more.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly he needs Lurin.
Yes.
He needs to attack early.
Yeah. He needs Lurin and Lurin's Bird of Prey.
Yeah.
Right. He needs the ability on the ship to go one more round.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't have that, he's over.
Yeah. Car in the RSV is still trudging along, clutching to the edge.
Yeah, it bumped again.
On purpose, I'd say.
Yeah, probably. Again, no way to truly know, but I have the sneaking suspicion that Joseph bumps intentionally.
Yeah. We all do sometimes. When it's necessary.
So Jordan had spent his Meridor on 2 of his 3 Burrells, the ones in front, and Damon Solak, the one that was in back and was being fake messaged. It's the only one with any active Meridor possibilities, so he's spending it now in the 4th and final round.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that this only goes 4 rounds.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it. I see that this whole thing's very positional, very tight, but I've played these kinds of games that go at least a 5th round.
Yeah. I think just all the taking care to make sure everything was done.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, okay, so my perspective, at least for a title match, as soon as a rule question is asked to the judge, time should be paused.
Yeah, that would make sense.
The only game.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you knew what the answer to that question was, it would just keep going. But you don't.
Sure. Like if it goes beyond 30 seconds, then you need stoppage time.
Yeah.
Right. That whole maneuver debate, or not maneuver, but measuring debate, that should have added some stoppage time. I don't know if that adds another round.
Yeah.
It probably doesn't.
Yeah.
But...
And it could have been a case of a couple of nervous players just focusing on the board and not really interacting, but there was a lot of back and forth, pleasant conversation.
Yeah.
They were clearly enjoying playing, even with the importance of the situation.
And I think Joseph was enjoying taunting, maybe? I don't know.
We weren't sure sometimes, yeah.
That was questionable sometimes.
And so the players having fun with Star Trek and having fun with the game certainly slowed things down a little bit. Not necessarily a bad thing.
No, not necessarily a bad thing. But you also have to understand that every single one of those is going to slow things down, take a little time off the clock, and all in all may have added up to a round.
Yeah.
Is that the worst thing? I don't know. But it kind of feels like it.
I think another round would have potentially added another kill, but I don't think it was very likely. A lot of attack cancellation still remained.
Sure.
But if it did lead to another kill, that would add a chance for either of them to win or lose. There's no way to say that, though.
Okay, so here we see projected stasis field coming out.
Yes. From Joseph.
No, Lauren.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is on to the Hathaway.
Yeah, from Lauren onto the Hathaway.
Yeah.
As he had banked towards the Hathaway there.
3 big.
And right here is where the 60-minute mark was, so we're clear that this will be the last round.
Just to kind of put the cap on the time discussion, it's also probably 4 ships versus 4 ships is going to add time to every round and shorten the overall game length. Right, 3-on-3, you're going to play extra rounds because you have less to think about and less to move.
Yeah. Given that 3-on-3 is the smallest number of ships that you can legally run.
Yes.
Which wasn't true a while ago, given 130-point Voyagers.
Yeah.
Oversized board cubes, tactical cubes, any Borg at all.
Right. So Lauren's Bird of Prey has target locked the fighters. We know why that is.
Yeah.
We know that's for weapon ports coming.
And Joseph probably did too.
He had to have a sneaking suspicion. I mean, if you're going, I have no idea what's under triphasic emitters. It hasn't been seen all day long. I think you got to have an idea that it might be anti-fighter tech.
Yeah. In here it says that Damon Solok targeted the fighters. I don't know if that's what you said. But I feel like that's wrong.
The notes I have at least say that it was...
Yeah, it was definitely Lauren's Bird of Prey.
Yeah. Calvin Hudson's ship.
Oh, no, the Lauren's Bird of Prey appears to overlap the obstacle, so I don't think it got action this round.
Is it?
It landed on the space station.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Damon Solok that targeted.
Okay.
But it is Lauren's Bird of Prey that has weapon ports. Just like as a backup measure, I guess. Lauren targeted.
Okay. It doesn't really matter.
No.
It all gets done.
Yeah.
All right, so the Hathaways swung back into the fight, but it's not actually going to participate in the fight because projected stasis field. I think the only action that the Hathaway can take that's worth anything is an evade.
Yeah. Probably.
Which is probably what it did.
Yep. It did.
Yeah.
He went the whole game, never took the extra Hathaway action, but I guess it was there as a...
We saw a lot of that in round 5. There was a lot of
the
Hathaway
semifinals.
Yeah. Semifinals.
Which makes sense. It's what you said earlier. If there's a card on the board that gives the opponent bonuses when a ship is under Ox, don't put Ox on your ship voluntarily.
I mean, that's just kind of how it goes, yeah.
Right, it's you have to adapt to the build that your opponent has and don't play to them.
Yeah.
Don't help them any more than
you have to.
You need to. And so if he really had an extra action... Right, if the Hathaway's not under projected stasis field, there's a thought that you go for target lock battle stations at the end. Because points are at least worthwhile.
Yes. Like if there's a damaged ship on the board, like Hudson's Bird of Prey.
Sure. But being under PSF, no attack, the
Yes.
only action that means anything to you is evade.
I mean,
So we're
potentially, since this was the last round, if you could have double evaded, you would have, but you can't.
Yeah. So we're getting into to combat here. We've got Gold Press Latinum coming in for battle stations on the 2 birds of prey that can get them.
Yeah.
We've got Triphasics coming in, and those are dead fighters. Sorry, Triphasic with weapon ports.
Either way, they're dead fighters.
Yeah, the long-anticipated weapon ports.
And especially with target lock and chemosite, there's no way they... Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, with those fighters dead, it is now Jordan's lead, 50-23. So it is worth noting, if Joseph kills the Damon Solox, it's a tie. We go to a roll-off.
Yes, which we do not want to see.
If he kills Lurin, it's not enough. We go nowhere.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lurin's generic Burrell, the one Lurin captains. He's got to kill Lurin's bird of prey, captained by Calvin Hudson.
Yeah.
That's the only way Joseph wins this outright.
And that was the one that I think 1 or 2 rounds back did decide to interface.
Okay, so that's...
Jordan's ahead by 27, so any of his Burrells would do it. Right?
Is that what it is? Oh, that's 37 on Damon Solak. Sorry, I misread that.
Oh, I'm picking up the camera. Okay.
Sorry, I misread that whole situation. I'm off. So yes, Lurin's bird of prey, he wins by a ton.
Yeah.
The Captain Lurin generic Burrell, he wins by a point, and Damon Solak, he wins by 10.
Yeah.
So if Joseph gets a kill, he wins.
Yeah.
And so at the end here, it becomes really important which captain Joseph has on his RSV.
Yes.
Because with his car captain, he's attacking Lurin. And
the higher skill.
And because he has the higher skill, he gets an extra attack dice. So he actually rolls 3 attack dice. He hasn't hit this ship previously. So Joseph was under the impression he needed to hit on all 3 dice. And so Jordan got 1 defense die to roll with the benefit of the battle stations, and he rolled a battle station. So Joseph thought he had lost.
Yeah.
But then Jordan pointed out that the ship had already taken 1 point of damage from using interface
earlier
on Lurin's ship. And so it was just enough to do it. And had Joseph gone with a different captain with 2 elites, he said he was originally in his fleet building, he was going with Romulan Commander, which would give him the 2 elites. But that would not have given him the extra attack die
or the double reroll.
Or the double reroll, which he needed because Joseph rolled hit, and battle stations. That was not a hit, so he had to reroll that last die with Carr.
Yeah.
And got a 3rd hit.
The last option would have been Enterprise E Picard. To get 2 elites.
To get 2 elites, yeah.
Which could have done it, because then you've got the set crit.
Yeah.
But again, against a chosen faction, against Jordan, you pick Ferengi.
You pick independent. I'd say.
Yes. Well, they're all Ferengi and independent, and I mean the RSV wasn't.
I mean, against Joseph, you also pick independent.
Yes.
Because his 3 ships have captured.
Ah, yes.
What Joseph said immediately after the match, he was talking to Jordan about this choice of his captain, and he said that he had wanted to run Romulan Commander as his captain to give him the opportunity to attack first, potentially do a space station attack, at the end of the game and have the benefit of the very first attack because of the Romulan commander's ability. But he was convinced by his advisors to dump that idea and instead go with Carr, and worked out well for him.
And speaking of advisors, those advisors are Peter Smith, Robert Fletcher, and of course himself. So,
very useful.
You know, if you're going to have advisors, those are the people to have advising you.
Also Tucker, I think.
Yeah.
Probably Tucker involved in that in some way. And I mean, from personally having Robert on my advisory committee, if you want somebody who can sit and talk you through the upswings and downfalls of cards to put in a build and rationalize it, and I mean, he had the right kind of people sitting there. This whole game has turned into almost an arms race of you need this person and this person and this person all helping you, giving you advice. It is not a one-man show anymore.
Robert told me that they'd spent months crafting this fleet, and Jordan told us that his first incarnation of his fleet was something like
It had
9 months in the past.
Yeah, and it included 2 Bremen warbirds, I think.
So it went through some tweaks over the months.
Just a few.
Just a couple, yeah.
Yeah, just a small amount.
The thing that strikes me is, as you pulled that camera up and panned over to Joseph, his face is one of relief.
Yes.
And one of this, like, I finally did it. Like, I think it was just starting to sink in, like, I finally won a world title.
Yes.
It's...
And Jordan's face also.
And Jordan, like, Jordan's a consummate competitor, and you know, this isn't... The best way I can put it is Star Trek is something you play. It's not who they are. So yeah. Does a loss sting? I'm sure. I mean, I still lament. Somewhat funny, but I still lament losses I've had, and I'll you know, I take my lumps, but it's all in good fun.
Yeah. Missing the cut by 1 was tough for me.
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah.
I've been there. I mean, missing the cut because of 2 crits after time's called, and that costs you a ship. Yeah, it stings.
I got the most points out of everyone who went 1 and 2 though, by like a lot, I think.
Yeah.
So
you know,
I suspect that both players enjoyed being at such an exciting finish, a 1-point finish, and
sure,
there's something to be said for being there in defeat as well.
They didn't even know that was the points. They had to do some math at the end, and it was either Joseph won because of math, or Jordan won because of math.
Yeah. And if you were looking for the most detailed play-by-play analysis, this wasn't your video. The raw footage is up and available as well with this. So if you want that footage, let me know. You can do your own. But our point was to take something that, should have been done a couple months ago, but for reasons here and there, this is something that needed to be done because it highlights what these players did, which is they did something awesome. And yeah, okay, fine, we knew the results, but still watching it unfold.
Yeah.
These players just hit each other with their best fleets, and anything could happen.
Yeah.
And that's an incredible game to watch. I've witnessed a world championship in person. I've now watched another one online. I watched the 2016 online, and I think I watched the 2015 online. I've seen every world title match. Every single one of them has been amazing games. There's no blowout game. And that says something. You don't get to the final table without A, knowing what you're doing, and B, being able to competently fly a fleet and have stuff go wrong and have stuff go right and know what to do when stuff goes wrong and to hang in there.
I don't think we mentioned this, but the two killing blows by Joseph were both struck by Romulan science vessels using a primary weapon attack.
That's hilarious to me. That is absolutely hilarious.
It's less hilarious to me and Dad, I think, because we've done that before.
Well, okay,
OPs.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, and I think I've been there as well.
It's nice though.
Well, I'll put it this way. Don't ever underestimate any ship that's on the board, because that die, or at range 1, those dice have potential.
And also in a attack cancellation environment where lots of the attacks from the big hitters are going to get canceled, it becomes really important to have maybe that fourth ship and to build out that fourth ship so it can actually do some damage, because that may well turn out to be the attack that is not going to get canceled and decides the battle.
Yeah.
I think the last time I ran a Romulan science vessel in an OP, I didn't have any means of quality on it, and every time I rolled it, it came up battle station.
Yeah.
Every single time. And it was against a Borg ship, too, right? All I have to do is roll a hit, and I'm doing damage.
Yeah.
But, I guess sometimes you have to be as lucky as a world champion to actually be a world champion.
Yes.
Not to diminish their skill at all, but there is at least a tiny bit of luck involved as well. All right, well, I've said about all that I can say. So is there anything that either of you two want to say?
No, I don't think so.
So I'll wrap it up by saying thank you to Jeff and James for recording this and B, taking the time, about 2 hours to record, to talk, and to have this all done. I really appreciate it. Now I get the fun job of editing.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. It was much fun.
And so until next time, we'll see you around the shipyard. Take care, guys.